Yeah,
allows my
technology.
to come down.
What was that? Sorry?
It allows my heart rate to come down.
Yeah.
I really had to rush for this stupid snowblower.
Okay, so I guess I can leave. Bye, guys.
Thanks. Javier, how's the framing on the iPhone? Is that okay? Is it okay? Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess in theory, the camera on the iPhone would be better. Okay. Um, yeah, are you testing for sound? Yeah.
I'm
Like that? Is that okay? Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. To the camera. Okay.
up here. Here. I'll look here.
I know it's so hard. Yeah, I know. Okay, you know what? Oh, okay. There we go. Let me just fix that.
Let me fix your hair, Noel.
No. As soon as I get the barber, as soon as I can get out. Okay, you're gonna count this down? Okay. Three, two, one. Okay, excellent. Okay. Okay. Hello, Carl Hetu. Thanks for joining us all the way from Gatineau.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here, Noel.
As the Canadian National Director for the global charity Kaniwa, Carl, I was hoping that you can, maybe give us some insight on how the church in the Middle East is helping during this time of pandemic.
Yes, as you know, this no place on earth is escaping this new virus, and the Middle East certainly isn't. The problem in the Middle East, as you know, is it's been in chaos.
Hmm.
Since 2003 in Iraq, since 2011 in Syria, it created war, conflicts, millions of refugees going to Lebanon and Jordan. So the whole Middle East has been deeply affected, and the church has been deeply affected as well. But at the same time, it has responded very well to the refugees, to the poor, the new poor that happened locally in Lebanon, for example, or in Jordan, the economic chaos that created that as well. So the church always has been with the people, the most needy people, and we've been working as an agency with the church in each one of those countries, including Gaza and Palestine, where there's this conflict with Israel that's still happening as well. So
Hmm.
pandemic is no different. What's different is the church has to change its way of working. Like here, all the churches had to close down. I mean, in Syria, even the bombs did not close the churches. Some closed, of course, but most of the church always were there to do ministry. Now, because of the virus, the church has closed down. Same thing in Iraq, same thing in the Holy Land, same thing in Jordan and Lebanon. And so it's been very difficult for the church this time around to really respond in the way it wants. But the health clinics are still open, food distribution is still open. And guess who's going there? The Lebanese are going there in mass, not just refugees or migrant workers from the Philippines that work in Lebanon or work in Jordan that are losing their jobs. So the church, yes, is very much vibrant, very much present towards the needs of the people locally.
Can you talk to some of the projects that Kaniwa is sponsoring in the Middle East, even during these difficult times?
If we take the example of Lebanon, before this pandemic, even before the Syria war, you had the Good Shepherd Sisters that in Beirut, Lebanon, opened a health clinic to help out poor neighborhood of Lebanon. When this war started in Syria, and Syrian came by the thousands, if in a million, and same thing in Iraq. Tens of thousands of Iraqi refugees came to Beirut, Lebanon. They went to see the sisters at the health clinic that also do food distribution and etc. With the pandemic, what we see happening is compared to Canada, where people have subsidies, business have subsidies. In Lebanon, there's no such things as subsidies to people. So if you lose your job, thousands of them have lost their job. What you see happening is they go right into poverty. And where do they go? They go and see the Good Shepherd Sisters. They go and see the Franciscan Sisters. They go and see all those other religious sisters in the church that has already put in place, thank God, all those food distribution system in place. But now there's just that the numbers are doubling, tripling, quadrupling with people that require aid. And that's where we are coming along. We're continuing our aid to that particular healthcare and many others across the Middle East. But that one in particular is, of course, booming with problems. And you can just imagine the refugee families that have, and local poor that have barely access to water. How can they wash their hands? Washing your hands in places like this is almost impossible. To do social distancing. How can you do this with a family of four live in a one-bedroom apartment? So people density is a major problem in Beirut. And so what you have happening is how can you control then the virus? There's no testing. Lebanon is not equipped like most countries like in Iraq or Syria or even Palestine are not equipped to do testing. So there are all those people walking in the streets, even though shouldn't work, have to go to work under the blanket, like in what we call in the black market under the table to survive. And so the virus is just spreading.
I see. Are there any inspiring stories of faith coming from the Middle East that you can share with us?
I think the stories and the heroic people are certainly people working in the health system. So the Good Shepherd Sisters, of course, if you go in Bethlehem, you have, of course, the Bethlehem Hospital, Catholic Hospital, that's there as well, that we're supporting in Bet Sahur in particular. And, they care very much with the people. And once again, if you look at Bethlehem, you have a situation where about a month ago, 6-7 Bethlehemites got the pandemic, the virus from a Greek tourist that were visiting the Holy Land. And right away, the Palestinian Authority put some very severe measures, regulations to stop movement of people. And so what happened is, of course, tens of thousands of people, of tourists, left Bethlehem. That means no income anymore. And so the church, local church, with all its infrastructure, were able to feed the people. But it's winding down. You need more aid, more support in order to do this. So the brave people are the people on the ground with the church that are really putting their life at risk to feed people, to also minister to them. And it's life as usual. People still die. People are still sick with cancer. People have issues with the occupation from Israel. If you go in Syria, the bombing continues. In Iraq, all those problems. And so the hero are really the one providing all the care in those really, really harsh times. And it's all the religious sisters whether it's the Dominican sisters in Iraq, you have the Good Shepherd sisters I mentioned. All those sisters are doing some amazing life work once again. Yes.
No, that's absolutely incredible. Well, one last question I have for you, Carl, today is, what gives you hope personally during this difficult period?
Well, if we look at the people in Canada, I think we've realized, and some studies have been already coming out, and ourselves as an agency, we've seen it. I've been sending emails to inform people about our program, how the program is affecting so many people, and inviting people to pray. And what I see among Canadians, like usual, coming forward with a great generosity, spirituality, especially Catholic Canadians. And I think this has shown this sense of the one global world we live in today, and the awareness that if we go through hardship here, can you believe other people that have less? And what I've seen is the hard work locally as well, in all over the Middle East, in Ethiopia, in India, in Ukraine, all the countries we're in. And I think the hope lies into all those people that want to survive but wants to have a better life in the future. And I think there's a great learning in this. At the same time, people that can help, that can support Kenewa and can support all that great work on the ground, I invite people to do so if they can by visiting, of course, our website. And this just helps continuing to keep people in dignity that are going through so much hardship all over the world right now, that have absolutely no means to support each other because their government does not have the means.
For those who want to help, Carl, can you let us know what the website is that they can connect to?
Yeah, but our website is cnewa.ca. So cnewa.ca, and in there you'll have different updates from some of the countries we're talking about. There's also the donation page, some reflection text, and we also have a Facebook, kenewa.ca, where we have a lot of different interviews and testimony as well.
Listen, Carl, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing your perspectives. It's really been great talking to you.
Thank you very much, and let's all pray the Virgin Mary, as the Pope is inviting us to do. In those times, it's a time to be in solidarity. It's a time to be of service to other people. So if we all do that, caring for one another, I think we'll get out of it much, much better than we were before.
Amen to that, Carl. Thanks again.
Pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, how was that? Great. Carl, you're great as usual.